Welcome back. Well, today we're talking about JWs and their vibrations. And this is coming to us from one of the subscribers, Linda, who recommended that we look into this. I do like this subject. It's a very interesting subject, our vibrations inside of us. You probably heard of that. Everything vibrates. Nothing, like even rocks are not, they vibrate. Nothing's solid like we think it's solid. Everything vibrates. So when it comes to the human body has vibrations in it. Here's what it says. By testing the response of the human body, we vibrate, we resonate at around 5 hertz. They're saying, however, in recent years, an indirect method has been proposed which we can increase our resonance. What does it mean, where our frequencies resonate? What does that mean? Well, it's how all the cells bounce around. So they operate 6 to 8 hertz, 7 hertz we've heard is the resonance of the human body. What is the frequency of a healthy body? Well, Google says 60 to 70 megahertz. What exactly is a vibrational frequency? Well, it relates to the rate at which your body cells, they vibrate and oscillate. So cells that vibrate at a higher frequency are full of energy and are super healthy, reflecting how we feel. So think of a child, young children playing, and they're vibrant and they're jumping around, they're in a playground, while they're full of energy and they're super healthy and they're vibrating at a higher energy. A healthy human body has a vibrational frequency range between 62 to 70 megahertz. So that's what science tells us. As previously stated, everything vibrates. Everything around us vibrates. So the human body's no different. Interesting enough, each organ has its own optimal frequency range. There's like an optimal range for your heart, your kidneys, and so on and so forth. So infrasound could disturb the body. There's things that disturb our frequencies in our body, and they can disturb the brain, the heart. This can come from machines, earthquakes, even storms come in, lightning and thunder. This infrasound, it puts us on high alert, changes our frequencies. So how do I find my body's frequency? Well, you can breathe, you can there's ways of monitoring airflow and so on and so forth. Your doctor can put an ECG to measure your electrical potentials in your heart. And this is a real big study. Now, there's a natural frequency to the Earth, and they call that Schumann's resonance. You may have heard of that. It's a natural frequency of our whole planet. And the Earth's natural frequency runs at about 7.83 hertz. And it surrounds and protects all living things on the planet. It's this vibrational frequency. So it's interesting. It's part of life. Now, the most powerful frequency to leave the human body is authenticity. And it's authenticity, being ourselves. You're pulling out, throw away all the masks, pull out our real self. That's the most powerful frequency that we can put out. Okay, well let's move on. We're gonna look at a couple of videos to help us wrap our head around this whole frequency thing. And this video is how to instantly tell your vibrations at any time. This is only 4 minutes, and it'll help us to get into this. And then the next topic is really interesting. It's going to show us how we vibrated, or how we could still be vibrating, but as a Jehovah's Witness, what's going on inside of us. Okay, so first, before we can get there, we're going to give you a crash course. 4 minutes, here it is.
Hi, So in this video, we are going to talk about how to tell your vibration at any time, and also how to switch it at any time. And it's actually fairly easy. Now, before we talk about how to tell what your vibration is quickly at any time, we're going to talk about your vibration indicators. So we're all equipped with a way to tell what our vibration is. And all a vibration is just a thought. It's a thought that you are thinking that is sending out a vibration that is going to attract that same vibration to you. That's just how this universe seems to work. And so thoughts in themselves don't really have any feeling. They don't feel like anything emotion-wise, a thought without an emotion it's just a thought, And so we're equipped with these emotions, or our vibration indicators, our thought indicators. And so that's why each thought will have a certain emotion. And this emotion is calibrated by your beliefs. So this is why a thought can feel different to certain people. So, $100 feels poor to some people. $100 feels rich to some people. And so the thought of $100 is going to feel different for every individual. So it's calibrated based off your society, based off your beliefs, how you grew up, your beliefs towards any certain subject. And so really there is no one set emotion or vibration for any one thing. It's based off of your belief towards it. So for instance, if you have a belief towards you trying to manifest, $1,000, just to keep it simple. You want to manifest $1,000. And if you start thinking about your lack of $1,000, you're going to feel upset. And that upset feeling is going to tell you, it's going to indicate to you that you're not thinking the thoughts that are aligning with that $1,000. But if you start thinking, I have $1,000 right now, you should feel good. And so when you feel good, you are going to be on the right path. That is how you use your vibrational indicators. So how do you tell what vibration you are at any given moment? You've probably guessed it. It's your emotions. How do you feel? And if you're trying to manifest a certain subject, a certain thing, like money or love or relationship or whatever, health, how do you feel in this given moment is going to indicate if you are on that path. Because here's the thing. Anything that we are trying to manifest in our lives, we are trying to manifest because we believe it's going to make us feel good. So rest assured, feeling good is a good indication that you are on the path of manifesting what it is you want. You are not trying to manifest something that is going to make you feel bad, right? So this is why people say be positive, be positive. It's not the actual being positive that is bringing your life that you want. It's just a coincidence that, being positive is on the same vibration as what it is that you want. Does that make sense? So how to tell what your vibration is at any time is to just check your emotions. How do they feel? And a quick way to change your vibration up is to just use a quick session of gratitude. Look around, be thankful, truly thankful for what is around you, anything that's around you at just any given moment. And that should bump up your vibration a little bit. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Okay, well, what did you think? How to instantly tell your vibrations at any time is our emotions. So that's how we can tell from our emotions. So how are we feeling? If we're feeling sad or happy or joyous, how are we feeling? And if we want to change, if we have negative emotions, how do we change them? So let's say we are, as ExJWs, we're outside of the organization, and we're feeling a lot of negative emotions. We're feeling dejected, rejected. We're feeling perhaps shame, guilt, all these feelings. We're going to talk about them in a second here. But if we feel all of these feelings, we can change them in an instant. And all we have to do is find 3 levels of gratitude. So you look around yourself, what are you thankful for? What are you thankful for? If you look around, is there any people that you're thankful for? Are you thankful for, you'll start thinking about that. And all you have to do in your psyche, in your brain, is think of 3 things. If you're having a hard time going to sleep at night, think about 3 things of gratitude, and then count backwards from 9 to 1. You'll be asleep before you hit 5. You may be asleep just trying to think about all the 3 levels of gratitude while you're laying in bed. This is an amazing trick. It's an amazing hack for your mind. And it'll help you through some of the most difficult times. And some of the most difficult times I found as an ExJW was at nighttime. I'm laying there, perhaps, well, I was all by myself, laying there, dejected, rejected, cast away from everything. And I had many disquieting thoughts. So I learned this hack a while ago. And yes, 3 levels of gratitude. Think about 3 levels, 3 things. Are you thankful for being in the warm bed you're in? Are you thankful for the house or the shelter you're in? Are you thankful for the food that you have? Are you thankful for the journey that you've gotten to this far? Are you thankful? You don't have to be thankful to anybody, but you can be thankful to God if you're a spiritual person. You can thank God. But it's about being thankful. It's about that emotion or that energy of gratitude. It's powerful. It'll change your life. Okay, we're going to go on to the next one, and we're going to decipher all the different levels, and I'll just get over to that video. I'll pin all these videos at the bottom. It says, use this guide to tell what frequency you're in at any moment. And this is Wayne Dyer on the Hawkins map. So we'll take a look at this and see what he says.
So the bottom of this scale is 20. It's the very lowest thought that you can have. And it will always weaken you. Not only will it weaken you, but it will ultimately destroy you, such as its weakness. It's at 20, it's shame.
Okay, so this, I'll get off the screen in a minute here and let this play through. But he's gonna talk about this scale 20 to 1,000, and it means nothing. It's just a scale. It's not a frequency. It's just a scale. Now, on an emotional scale, the very bottom of the scale is shame. Now think of it. When you come out of JW.org, what are we ridden with? Shame, guilt. In fact, when you're in there, you can be shamed into doing more ministry, shamed into going to meetings. You know, they can shame you. Shame is a big thing. It's a huge tool with that organization. Now, on this emotional scale, it's going to nail down all of these emotions that we get from coming out of JW.org, like guilt. Some of the stuff in JW.org, when you're in there, you're taught to hate all kinds of stuff. You got to hate Satan, right? And Satan's all around. There's all the lying media, the lying governments. They're just lying about everything. You see, Jehovah's Witnesses are taught to hate the wicked world. There's a lot of hate going on. Now, I'm going to let this run through. You guys watch this. I'll leave a link. You might want to watch it twice on your own. But this is interesting. Okay, here we go.
So the bottom of this scale is 20. It's the very lowest thought that you can have. And it will always weaken you. Not only will it weaken you, but it will ultimately destroy you, such as its weakness. It's at 20, it's shame. So if you are using shame on yourself, or you're using shame as a way of parenting or working with others, what you are doing is you are always using an emotional energy that will weaken. The emotion that accompanies shame is called humiliation. And the life view is one of misery, and the God view, the view of God, is one of despising. God despises us. We are ashamed. There's something wrong with us. The next level up, which is very, very low and will always weaken you, is 30, is guilt. feeling guilty. The emotion that accompanies it is blame. The God view is one of God as vindictive. God is punishing. And the life view is one of life is evil. There's something wrong with life. The next level up is one that's called 50. And this level is the emotion that accompanies that is despair. So that apathy and despair go together. The God view is one of God as condemning. And the life view is that life is hopeless. There's not much that we can do. The next level up is 75, which still weakens us. It's grief. The emotion is regret. God's view is disdainful. And the life view is one of tragic. Life is tragic. We are now moving to 100, which is called fear. And the emotion that accompanies fear is anxiety. The God view is one of punitive, God is punishing, and life view, frightening. Life is frightening. Now we move up to 125, what he calls desire, and the emotion that accompanies that is craving, always wanting to get someplace else. The life view is one of life is disappointing, and the God view is denial, denying. Now we move to 150. We are still at emotions and thoughts that you have that will weaken you. At 150, the emotion that accompanies it is hate. The life view is that life is antagonistic. And the God view is that God is vengeful. We are now moving closer to that which will strengthen us, to something called pride. Pride. And the emotion that accompanies pride is called scorn. The life view is that life is very demanding. And the God view is that God is indifferent. Doesn't care one way or the other. Now we move to 200. We are now making a distinction between being able to recognize truth from falsehood. This is called courage. And the emotion that accompanies courage is affirmation, affirming, life is affirming. The life view is that it is feasible. And the God view is that God is permitting. God allows us. All right. Now we move to 250. We are now talking about emotions and thoughts which strengthen us. At 250, trust is the emotion. Neutrality is the level of thought. The life view is life is satisfactory, and that the view of God is that God is enabling. God enables us. We move now to 310, what he calls willingness. Willingness. Whereas the emotion of willingness is something called optimism, an optimistic view of life. The life view is that life is hopeful, and the God view is that God is inspiring. Now we have moved from God being despising and vindictive and punitive and vengeful and indifferent and permitting and enabling to now God is inspiring. At 350, acceptance, the emotion is forgiveness. I accept and I forgive. The life view is that life is harmonious, and the God view is that God is merciful. Mercy. We now move to 400, where very, very few people ever get to, called reason. The emotion of reason is understanding. The life view is that life is meaningful. There's a meaning to all of this. And the God view is that God is not only merciful and inspiring, but God is wise. Wisdom comes with knowing God. Now we move to 500, which we're talking about a handful of people. The level is called love. The emotion is reverence. The life view is that life is benign, non-cancerous, non-debilitating. And the God view is that God is loving. At 540, the level of joy, Where there is sadness, let me bring joy, remember. The emotion is serenity, a sense of just being serene in life. The life view is that life is complete. I am complete. And the God view is that all is one. All is one. At 600, the level of peace, the emotion is bliss. So it's not just serenity, but it's bliss, which is that wonderful, great, good feeling, continuous. Life view, life is not only complete, it is perfect. And the God view, all being. And finally, enlightenment, between 700 and 1,000. The emotion that goes with the sense of enlightenment is what he calls the ineffable. Ineffable. Life view, everything is. There's no judgment. And the God view, self. The self is God.
Okay, so there was a lot to digest there. So maybe we'll just kind of go over it really quickly. But the bottom is shame, and we find that being ousted from JW.org, you're made to feel shameful. This is the lowest frequency, and you're humiliated. There's lots of humiliation that goes with it, and your life is misery. It's exactly what he's saying here. And your God view is that you think that God despises you. You know, you lose a relationship kind of there with God. So then the next lowest thing is guilt. Well, what comes with shame is guilt. And this is part of the whole disfellowshipping, the shunning, this whole policy that they have. And it shows us that this religion really works at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to frequencies. It's using the bottom of the barrel to handle and manhandle their people with guilt, with shame. And what does this bring? It brings despair. It brings apathy. Everyone's just waiting around for God to do something. God's view is condemning. Life view is life is hopeless. You know, life on this earth is hopeless. We're waiting for the new system to come. It's just a hopeless system. Satan's running it all. You see how the JW mentality really keeps us at the bottom of the barrel. Then we have grief. We regret. God view is disdainful. Life view is tragic. Fear. Fear is a huge one. This organization uses fear almost every meeting. Well, every meeting it uses fear. And the emotion is anxiety. The people are on edge. The God view is punitive. Life view is frightening. Imagine the little kids going to the assembly, the fear. And then number 125, they bring in desire, cravings. We wonder why we sit down and eat potato chips all day long after we come home from a meeting. We eat potato chips and watch TV. We just have to get our mind into something else because of that. So it creates disappointment, denial, life view. It's a disappointing life. Because there's nothing we can do. Now, hate is a huge emotion, and there's a lot of hate towards the Catholic Church, especially. We see they're mentioned a lot. They hate the wicked system, they hate the news media, they hate the governments. There's a lot of dislike, and then there's this pride, this feeling of pride, like I have the truth. But this kind of pride is not good. It's not a good pride. It's demanding of us. We have this truth. We got to go door to door. We have all this view, and God really doesn't give a crap. Pride of ownership. I had one elder talk to me about pride of ownership. Number 200, being able to recognize truth from falsehood. Here's where we start changing. Courage. And we have to have the courage to walk away from JW.org. This is where our emotions start to raise. Affirmation. Life view is feasible now. We got out of there. God's permitting us. God's not holding us in there. We're permitted to have courage. Walk out of that organization. Now, 250, emotions and thoughts which strengthen us. Trust. We have to build a newfound trust. we've been lied to. When we get to the point where we have the courage to walk away, we have now recognized that we've been lied to by the org. They've been candy coating things. We've lost our trust. So now we can start to build a new form of trust. Life becomes satisfactory. We get a different view of God as we build that new trust. And then we have a willingness. The emotion is optimism. We start looking at the world a little different. The life view is hopeful. Things start to change in our life, and our God view is inspiring. I feel like God's inspiring me. I'm out there doing things. I'm taking a solar course, doing this, doing that. You might be doing some different things too. You feel inspired. And then 350, acceptance. So we have to forgive ourselves, accept who we are, and our life view changes. It becomes more harmonious. Once we accept ourselves, we're not living up to JW Org. We're not trying to be like the elder, the pioneer. We're being who we are. We accept us. God's view is merciful. God wants us to accept ourselves. Then we go on to reason. Now, JW Org does not like us to do this, but we need to use reasoning and understanding, and we take in knowledge and we find meaning, a new life view. The God view is God is wise. We can look through the Bible and we can look at it from a different set of eyes, not through the Watchtower's eyes. Reason. We can find reason in all of this stuff. Now, 500 is love. Live your life with love. And this is the emotion, the reverence. And not a lot of people get to this level in life, but you guys are. You're watching this show. Life view is benign. That means it's neutral. You're not cancerous. If you've been sick and stuff, you start putting love in your life, the sicknesses can go away, quite literally. And then we find joy in our life and serenity. And our life starts to change. And we have this bubble of love around us. We have the animals, the friends, whoever we have. And life seems complete. And the God view is that we're all connected. God, us, and the earth, and all our friends. We're all connected. And then we find peace. That's 600. It's bliss. Once we start to have peace in our life. We don't have the worry. We don't have any. All those things are yesterday. We have bliss. Life is beautiful. Life is perfect. And if we start to think that way, life does become perfect. And then we're all being. Now we can venture into enlightenment. And we can be enlightened, and we can write stories. We can do different things. Now he talks about enlightenment being like we are one. We are enlightened. We are built in the image of God. So it's an interesting journey. So I invite you all to take this journey with us. Subscribe. If you haven't, press a like. And we'll keep sharing the journey with you. So folks, until next time, keep living your life with love. It'll raise your frequencies. Bye for now.